Pusher's certainly in it, up to his neck with this guy, and he's a veteran, knows how to fight.
In 1997, two Hall of Fame goalies skated to center ice and started punching each other while their teammates fought all around them, not the players, the goalies. That is number 1 on this list, and it gets weirder from there. Goalies are supposed to be the calm ones, the ones who hold it together when everything falls apart, but somewhere between the pressure, the pucks, and the $50 million contracts, some of them completely snapped. They scored goals from their own net. They attacked players who were not even looking at them. One of them demanded a trade from his own bench live in front of thousands of fans in the middle of a game. Every moment on this list actually happened. We are counting down 10 times NHL goalies completely lost their minds. Let's get into it. Number 10, Bryzgalov explains the universe. The Philadelphia Flyers gave Ilya Bryzgalov $51 million and 9 years. Then HBO came in to film the team for their 24/7 documentary. Bryzgalov sat in front of the camera, completely calm, and explained that humans should not be afraid of anything. Bears, tigers, failure, nothing. Because the universe is so enormous that it all becomes irrelevant anyway. He drew an invisible galaxy in the air with his hands. He smiled the whole time. $51 million, 9 years, galaxy hands. Philadelphia had absolutely no idea what they signed. The clip went viral immediately and has never stopped being funny since. Number 9. Martin Brodeur scores a goal. Martin Brodeur is the greatest goalie in NHL history. 4 Vezina trophies, 3 Stanley Cups, the all-time leader in wins and shutouts. And on February 2nd, 2000, he scored a goal. The Flyers pulled their goalie. Brodeur had the puck behind his own net, looked up the ice, and shot it the full length of the rink. It went in. He then did it again in the 2009 playoffs, making him the only goalie in history to score in both the regular season and the postseason. Most forwards never scored twice in a playoff run. Brodeur did it from his own crease, twice, because apparently one career-defining moment was not enough. Number 8. Rick DiPietro versus Zenon Konopka. Rick DiPietro was the New York Islanders goalie on a 15-year, $67 million contract. On December 11th, 2010, he decided to fight Zenon Konopka. Konopka had over 200 penalty minutes that season. He was one of the most feared fighters in the league. The fight lasted 4 seconds, 2 punches. DiPietro went down. He was already injured before he skated out there. He knew what Konopka was. He went anyway. Whether that is the bravest thing a goalie has ever done or the most reckless depends entirely on who you ask. The result was the same either way. Number 7. Ron Hextall attacks Kent Nilsson with his stick. Ron Hextall has 2 entries on this list. The fact that you are not surprised by that is the point. In Game 6 of the 1987 Stanley Cup Finals, Hextall skated toward Kent Nilsson while the whistle was down and slashed him across the back of the legs with his stick. Not during a play, not in a scrum. The whistle was already blown. He received an 8-game suspension. He served it the following season. He came back and played exactly the same way. Hextall operated on a personal rule book that had very little overlap with the NHL's official one. He was completely at peace with that. Number 6. Mike Smith versus Cam Talbot. On March 13th, 2018, the Battle of Alberta got out of control. Players were fighting everywhere, and then both goalies decided they were not going to be left out. Mike Smith of the Flames and Cam Talbot of the Oilers skated to center ice and dropped their gloves. 2 goalies in full pads trading punches at center ice. In 2018, when goalie fights had nearly vanished from the sport entirely, the crowd in Edmonton stood the entire time. For 30 seconds, it looked exactly like hockey used to look. Nobody wanted it to stop. We are halfway through this list, and we have not even gotten to the goalie who scored on a power play, the one who demanded a trade from his own bench mid-game, or the one who attacked a goalie who did not even want to fight. Number 1 is still coming, and it is the reason this list exists. Number 5, Nabokov scores on the power play. On February 10th, 2002, Evgeny Nabokov of the San Jose Sharks did something no goalie had ever done in 80 years of NHL hockey. He scored a power play goal. Nabokov wound up from his own crease and fired the puck the full length of the ice into the empty net while the Sharks were on the man advantage. The goal counted. The crowd in San Jose lost their composure completely. It has not happened since. Not once. One goalie, one moment. 80 years of history broken in a single shot, and Nabokov celebrated like he had been planning it for months, because he had been. Number 4. Patrick Roy demands a trade. During the game, December 2nd, 1995. Detroit 11, Montreal 1. Patrick Roy allowed 9 goals before coach Mario Tremblay finally pulled him. By then, the crowd at the Montreal Forum was already booing their own goalie. Roy skated to the bench, sat down, and then turned directly to Canadiens president Ronald Corey, seated nearby, and told him out loud in front of thousands of people in the middle of the game that he had just played his last game as a Montreal Canadian. Not after, not in a private meeting, right there. He was traded to Colorado 6 days later. He won 2 more Stanley Cups. He became the greatest playoff goalie in history. But that moment, turning to the team president during a live game and demanding a trade loud enough for people around him to hear, is still the most extraordinary thing any professional athlete has ever done in the middle of a sporting event. Number 3. Ron Hextall, first goalie to ever score. December 8th, 1987. Boston pulled their goalie late in the game. Hextall had the puck behind his own net, looked up at an empty goal over 100 feet away, and shot it in. First goalie in NHL history to directly shoot and score a goal. He told reporters afterward he had been working on that shot for years and had always believed he could do it in a real game. No one in 80 years of the sport had managed it. He decided he would be the first. Then he did it again in 1989, because once was apparently not enough to make the point. Number 2, Ray Emery attacks Braden Holtby. November 1st, 2013. The Flyers were losing badly. Ray Emery was the backup goalie and had not been in the game at all. He skated the full length of the ice and attacked Braden Holtby, the Washington starting goalie who had done nothing to him, who kept his hands down, who tried to skate away. Holtby could not properly defend himself without exposing his bare hands, so he covered up and took the punches while Emery kept throwing. The league reviewed it and issued no additional discipline. Fighting is technically permitted. That ruling remains one of the most controversial decisions the NHL has ever made. The question Emery raised that night has never been cleanly answered. What exactly are the rules when a goalie decides there are no rules? Number 1. Patrick Roy versus Mike Vernon. The brawl in Hockeytown, March 26, 1997. Detroit Red Wings versus Colorado Avalanche. 9 fights in a single game. The most violent regular season game in modern NHL history. The bad blood had been building for a year. A brutal hit on Chris Draper the previous season had broken bones in his face. That debt was never settled. Until tonight. In the middle of the full-scale brawl, Patrick Roy left his crease and skated toward Mike Vernon. Vernon met him at center ice. 2 Hall of Fame goalies, gloves off, fighting each other while everyone else fought around them. Roy won. The Detroit crowd stood from the first punch to the last. The game produced thousands of combined penalty minutes. Players were suspended. The league issued statements. The fans called it the greatest night they had ever watched. This is the standard. When someone asks what it looks like when an NHL goalie completely loses their mind, the answer has always been the same. It looks exactly like this. These were the last line of defense. The ones built to absorb pressure, stay composed, and hold it together when everyone else fell apart. And yet, they scored goals. They started fights they had no business being in. They attacked players who were not even looking. One of them explained the Galaxy to a national television audience on a $51 million contract. Goalies are different. They always have been. And if there was any doubt left before you watched this video, there is none left now.